A very good afternoon from a very, very sunny Karting Genk, the home of champions. Welcome back to our live stream coverage provided by our streaming partners this season, WFR Live TV. My name's Alex Goldschmidt, welcoming you back for the continuing coverage of Championship Sunday for the 2025 BNL Karting Series season. We've already had the majority of the qualifying heats out of the way. We've still got one more to go a little bit later on before the finals with our third and final senior Rotax qualifying heat. But we're now at the pre-final stage, and at this point, the anticipation and the adrenaline goes up another level. And what I mean by that is we're getting close to that point this weekend whereby it's all or nothing. So, without further ado, let's remind you of the track we're racing at, the iconic and world-famous Karting Genk, the home of champions. So this circuit has been in use for over 4 decades, and it continues to excite and amaze and also challenge the best from around the world. It's also hosted its fair share of world and European championship events and also international and domestic competitions. It's a fine blend of technicality where if you go beyond the limit, well, something might happen. Also, sometimes the weather can be quite unpredictable here in the Limburg region of Belgium, but sometimes the weather can be on your side and you can have perfect conditions for racing around this fantastic facility. I've also had the opportunity to drive around this circuit back a couple of years ago, and I can understand the amount of technicality that this circuit provides for the drivers and also the racecraft that they build over their years in the respective categories, whatever class they race in the world of karting. And now we head trackside for the very first time, as coming up now is the pre-final for Mini and Mini Max Rookie. Well, there was a big development after the turn 5 lap 1 incident. Riley Morrow was unfortunately deemed to have been a bit excessive in trying to get past teammate Austin Oman and was promptly excluded and will start from the back of the field for this particular adventure. It's going to be 10 minutes plus an additional lap for all of our pre-finals. The last qualifying heat, which will be qualifying heat number 3, A versus B for senior Rotax, will be 7 minutes plus an additional lap. And then we go into the finals, whereby it will be 12 minutes plus an additional lap for Minimax and Minimax Rookie, and also Junior Rotax. The other two classes with Senior Rotax closing the show with the on-track action, and along with DD2 Masters, and DD2 and DD2 Masters, it's 15 minutes plus an additional lap. We welcome back our viewers on the BNL Karting Series YouTube channel and, of course, on our Facebook live stream. So thank you for once again rejoining us. Local time about to hit 1:45 in the afternoon. We have 8 more races ahead of us as the green flag and the green light signal to the drivers to start up those Rotax Max Evo engines and head out onto the circuit. So, without further ado, let's take you through the starting order for the pre-final on day number 2 for Mini and Mini Max Rookie. Finn Albert Jorgensen from Denmark, feeling a lot more comfortable than yesterday, won the qualifying heat and thereby starts on pole position. He'll be joined by the Flying Dutch Wonder, powered by Mum and Dad on the outside of the front row, Mick Klinkers in the 105. Jensen Walker and Logan Rolfe round out row 2. Gillian Dumas and Harry Radcliffe round out row 3. Leo Livings and Austin Oman round out row 4 ahead of Leon Herboz and Dayan Habits. Tren Van Melek, Ben Falker, Arlo Gamble, Teddy Murphy, Leonard Koester, Jan Wozniak, Milo de Karlsmaker, Dimitar Lazarov, Theo Freher from Ireland, Jack Klim, Matthias Verreken, Milos Beginski, Julian Janssen, and last but by certainly no means least, Riley Morrow starts at the back end of the field. So during the lunch break, able to have a little bit of a wander outside of the commentary box, and the heat has intensified. So is the sun. And up above in the skies, blue is the word. Colourful, bright, and providing fantastic conditions for racing. With some birds chirping in the local atmosphere. So, the thing is, in the words of my good friend, Henry Brodette, Riley Morrow has got to try and attempt the top gear from the rear. Or as I like to call it, the last to first challenge. But it is going to be down to our drivers. That will put us into that racing phase as we kickstart Championship Sunday afternoon. Revs up. Lights will now go from red. And we are green. We're underway. So 10 minutes plus an additional lap. Meantime, well, it is not Finn Albert Jorgensen leading. Someone has a little bit of a drama. That is the 154, Matthias Van Aken. But Finn Albert Jorgensen has lost the lead, and it has gone the way of Mick Klinkers. And Teddy Murphy, the 171, getting cheered on again by Denise Hussey. We've got Osterman being cheered on by Emerson McAndrew-Uren, who has also qualified for Team UK. Austin yet to secure a ticket. Riley's already done so last time out at the last round of the Euro Trophy for the Italian Minimax Cup at Sarno. But we are fast coming towards the conclusion of our opening lap of this race. And what is the scores on the doors, ladies and gentlemen? Well, let me tell you, Mick Klinkers leads ahead of Finn Albert Jorgensen. Austin Amman rounds out the top three. And at the moment, well, Julian Janssen has not got past the second sector of the race. The opening lap, I'm afraid. So Julian Janssen is now a retiree. And of course, well, Teddy Murphy. Thank you, Denise, for that wonderful bit of information on YouTube. It is Teddy's first weekend of competition in Genk, and it's probably not the only one here for the first time. But a quartet of karts, Mick Klinkers, Finn Albert Jorgensen, Austin Amman, and Harry Radcliffe lead the way. And they are magnetised at the bumpers, folks. So strap yourselves in, because we've got another 8.25 minutes to go, plus an additional lap. And now it's going to be a case of who is going to pull the trigger first. It's going to be Austin Amman. Up the inside he goes to Finn Albert Jorgensen. This could open the door for Harry Radcliffe in fourth place to slide up the inside of the Dane. And Andreas Lagman is back again. Go, 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 Finn. Right, okay, fair enough. So Finn Albert Jorgensen now finds himself behind Harry Radcliffe, who's got through on the Dane. So Finn Albert Jorgensen demoted to fourth position. As now it's going to be an opportunity here. Austin Amman through at turn 6. Gets through on Mick Klinkers for the race lead here in the pre-final. Riley Morrow now up into 21st position. Ahead of Ireland's Theo Freher in the 155. But now, with 3 minutes completed, here goes Harry Radcliffe up the inside of Mick Klinkers through at turn number 12. So Austin Amman leads us across the line as we complete lap 3, go on to lap 4. And another move. Mick Klinkers back through on Harry Radcliffe. Austin Amman in clear air. That is a 59.353. And now he's pulled an advantage over Harry Radcliffe, which is the best part of coming up to 0.3 of a second. But they will cross the timing beam very, very shortly. So, nearly 0.3. So Austin Amman trying to steal a little bit of a breakaway. Riley Morrow now up to 20th position. And Julian Dummer looking up the inside of Dayan Habits from Dams Racing. The German gets through. Lennart Köster gets a warning flag in the 144 from Race Control. And with that, another new fastest lap of the race. Riley Morrow has got an afterburner jet strapped to the back of that Sam Pollitt racing cart. He's just done a 58.985. He's just gone purple in the opening sector. So Riley Morrow, at this moment in time, is about 7 seconds off of the overall race leader. His SPR teammate, Austin Amman. So this is where things get very, very interesting. And there goes Finn Albert Jorgensen through on Harry Radcliffe. That's for third place. I think might have had to have used a little bit of the runoff area there. As, Milo de Karlsmaker in the 106 has pulled it into pit lane. Riley Morrow, new fastest lap of the race again, 58.784 for the 122 from Sam Pollitt Racing. Meantime, we are more than halfway through this race, and there are purples across the board. Riley Morrow is not giving up, not settling for where he is currently. And he needs to move up the order quite significantly to keep himself in that window of opportunity to try and close in on teammate and current race leader here in the pre-final, Austin Amman. As now Mick Klinkers, air it for the back axle of Austin Amman, and he's going to lose the lead. He's going to lose second as well. Austin Amman, within a matter of corners, as Finn Albert Jorgensen round the outside at turn 5, tried to make the move on Mick Klinkers. Klinkers has had to make one move, and Austin Amman threads the eye of the needle, and in storms Harry Radcliffe. Whoa, hold the phone. Harry Radcliffe was like an ICBM, a heat-seeking missile, and he got through. And now right behind them, Julian Dummer is closing in. Mick Klinkers now gets a warning flag from Race Control. We've got just under a third of this race remaining, and it has quite literally imploded in terms of the battle for the race lead. Klinkers brings us on to lap 8 as a race leader, but Austin Amman to the inside, and so does Harry Radcliffe. Will Finn Albert Jorgensen get through? Not quite, but he loses a position to Germany's Julian Dummer. And now Klinkers on the counter-offensive, gets through on Radcliffe, retakes second. Incredible commitment from our Mini-Max drivers, showcasing that they are not here to muck about, they're here to race. Ben Falker gets a warning flag from Race Control. Riley Morrow, now 6.1 seconds off the lead, is up to 15th. Julian Dummer now going wheel to wheel with Harry Radcliffe. Finn Albert Jorgensen is there behind him, and he slots in behind the German. Tries to go towards the outside to get the crisscross. That opens the door for Harry Radcliffe. And once again, Finn Albert Jorgensen finds himself back down in 5th position. And now through for the lead goes Mick Klinkers on Austin Amman. Julian Dummer's going to have a window of opportunity here. Where's he going to put the cart? To the inside. Amman covers him off. And now it's created a bottleneck. I think I count at least 9 carts with 1 minute and 20 to go, all capable of winning this race. Make that 10, because Leon Herbose is right there with them. This is allowing Mick Klinkers to pull a little bit of daylight at the end of the tunnel. Austin Amman and Harry Radcliffe tried to go through on Julian Dummer, and they both have succeeded. And now here comes Finn Albert Jorgensen with a head of steam up the inside of the SPR driver. He gets back through for fourth. And now it's nearly 3 wide, all bumping into the air. I think that might have been Logan Rolfe on the Synergy chassis, running with KR Sport. And now the top 14 rounded out by Riley Morrow as the battle for the lead really intensifies. Osterman gets through on Mick Clinkers. They've got to keep a watching brief because Riley Morrow last time around was only 3.8 seconds off of the race lead. Now if the Quintet et al. Start battling at the front end of the field, Osterman is picking off opponents as if they were standing still. Here goes Jorgensen up the inside of Clinkers. That's P2. 2 laps to go. They cross the line with next to nothing to spare. 1:31, Dayan Habits gets a warning flag. I think also 1:19, Jack Klim. Riley Morrow with the new fastest lap of the race. And where is Morrow? He's 12th, 58.537. And now, oh my goodness, it was nearly 5 abreast going into turn 6. Osterman is leading. There's going to be a change for around about 4th position. So there's going to be this is going to be an almighty scrap for 1.36 kilometres. Here we go. This is going to set us up nicely for a very, very explosive season finale. Osterman leads us onto the final lap. He's being chased down by Finn Albert Jorgensen, Julian Dummer, Mick Clinkers, Harry Radcliffe, Dayan Habits, Logan Rolfe, Leo Livings, Jensen Walker, and now Riley Morrow rounds out your top 10. And they're covered by 2.4 seconds. Down into turn 5 they go for the final time. Jorgensen able to get through on the Sam Pollitt Racing driver in front of him. But he's got the slipstream. He's going to pull to the inside. Jorgensen for the lead on the final lap at turn 6 and 7. He gets through. And now it's the final rush to the line. Into turn 10, Aman goes through. Back on Jorgensen. Dummer is there. Clinkers tries to go inside at turn 11. Into the penultimate corner they go. Out of the final turn. It's going to be a run to the line. Who's going to get it? Is it Aman? It's Aman. Aman wins it by a whisker. 11 thousandths at the line. Austin Oman has provisionally put himself in championship winning position in the final later on today. However, here are the results. Austin Oman wins after 12 laps and just over 16 kilometres. Finn Albert Jorgensen, P2. Mick Clinkers, Harry Radcliffe, Julian Dummer, Logan Rolfe, Dayan Habits, and look who popped into 8th. Riley Morrow is going to make sure that this championship comes down to the wire. Yes, sirree. Jensen Walker and Jazz Hands Leo Livings rounds out the top 10. Jack Klim, Ben Falker, Leon Herbos, Trent Van Melik, Matthias Verdaken, Lennart Custer, Teddy Murphy, Arlo Gamble, Jan Wozniak, Dimitar Lazarov, Theo Freher, and then we've got Milos Baginski rounding out the 22 finishers. With 8 laps to go, Milo de Karlsmaker retired and Julian Janssen retired on the opening lap. But it's game on for the championship between Austin Oman and Riley Morrow, and maybe a few more other participants in the party for Mini Max and the Mini Rookie Final a little bit later on. After that exciting pre-final, we now turn our attention as we return to Junior Rotax for their pre-final. So now we head back trackside, and it's time for DD2 and DD2 Masters action for their pre-final, their last one of the championship season. And in the qualifying heat earlier on today, well, it was the results of qualifying, effectively, because Len Nyes, the 417 from Belgium, running with Sheepers Racing Service BV. He'll be joined by RM Concept Powers, Antoine Babarou on the front row. There's Len Nyes himself. Still remember when he was knee-high to a grasshopper. Oh, no, his dad is here as well. Good to catch up with him. But Len, one of the younger drivers in this category, but still a very, very quick driver. So Len Nyes won the qualifying heats a little bit earlier on by just over 9/100ths of a second. Head of Antoine Babarou. David Maslakovitz not only picked up P3 but also took the fastest lap of the race. And, well, there were some penalties post-race for Mathis Hankans. Christophe Capitain, who still came up out on top in the DD2 Masters classification, ending up 16th. And Jakub Malamis for the 46 team, who used to run a certain man by the name of Slavomir Balansky, 2018 Champions Champion. Right, green flag waves at the end of the dummy grid, and it's going to be interesting how the championship develops going into the final later on. Len Nyes starts from pole position. Antoine Babarou alongside on the front row, followed by David Maslakovitz, Lawrence Herbos, Nicolas Guillaume, Gustav Susakos, Wout Kirstens, Ralph van der Pavert, Axel Hoes, Mats Johan Overhoff, Marco Trettenpreis, Vincent van Kerkhoff and Kian de Brandt, Mathis Hankans and Louis Koch rounds out the top 15. Christophe Capitain, Michael Becker, Dimitri Ostrovsky, Wim Rouleau and Jakub Malamis round out your driver lineup. So 10 minutes plus an additional lap, and after this, once the results have been ratified and confirmed, pending, well, after post-sporting and technical situations that need to be resolved, it will then decide our grid for the last race of the season. So now the mind games begin afoot. .125cc Rotax Max Evo engines twinned to a 2-speed gearbox. Your starting grid, and the lights are on the gantry once again. Roger, stop what's happening. He's putting me off. Talking about Roger Young, of course. But the revs rise, the lights go out for the pre-final, and straight away it's going to be a cut across. Oh, that was a quick cut across there by Len Nyes on Antoine Barberou as the field makes its way through into turn 2 for the first time. Lawrence Rose has got his way up into P3, and Gustav Zuzakovs gets through on David Maslakovic through at turn 2. So the game is afoot. Nicolas Guillaume just behind them as they come out of turn 5, cross the timing beam. And now it's all for themselves as they head through into turn 8 for the first time. So expect this to be very, very highly paced and highly strung in terms of atmosphere and adrenaline in both big quantities. One lap in the books, and Len Nyes leads by 96 thousandths of a second ahead of Antoine Barberou. He tried to look for a move up the inside for the race lead on the 417. Oh, right, who has just dived in? Dmitry Ostrovsky has just pulled into pit lane, I'm afraid. So it looks like he'll be doing his attempt at a top gear from the rear later on in the final. But of course, the drivers, it's a very different skill set here in DD2 and DD2 Masters. You have to compensate your driving style to what you would normally do in a direct drive. And of course, the progression is, Antoine Barberou nearly had a look up the inside of Len Nyes there. Nyes covered the door off very, very quickly indeed. That's allowed Lawrence Rose once again to close up. Once more, Antoine Barberou trying to do what he can to put the frighteners somewhat on a certain Len Nyes. And that's never easy. That's never easy at all. And more to the point that Len Nyes, if he can keep the cart where he wants to and not allow Barberou to get through, then that gives Herboz an opportunity to spring his way past the French driver in front of him. So back down the European they go. It's the 3-wide exchange into turn. Oh dear. One on the outside, one on the inside. And you've got a little DD2 in the middle. Not so much little, but it was close enough that if it was any closer, a 3-wide exchange, then that could have provided dramas. So Ralph van der Pavet finds himself behind Mats Johan Overhoff as Matthias Hankans trying to get through on Wout Kirstens. Len Nyes in clear air with a 4/10 of a second advantage over Antoine Barberou. Has a lead of 0.4 of a second. Just sets the new fastest lap of the race, 54.214. And here also tries to go, I think it was the, well, I couldn't see a 4:14. Might be a 4:24 Michael Drittenpreis. Trying to get through. But at the minute, and Danny Van Dijk, in answer to your question for the Rotax Max Challenge Golden Trophy, dates are 24th to the 26th of October here at Genk. Now, if you do have on your Android or Apple smartphone the Rotax Racing app, you can register through that. We've got over 35 plus entries already. Another driver going into the pits, and that's Jakub Malamis. So if you have a smartphone, be it Android, be it iPhone, you can download the free Rotax Racing app and register for it. If not, if you want to be on the worldwide interwebs, it's www.rotax-ems/GFT. And that will be for the Golden Trophy. And it's been running for a multitude of years here at the BNL Karting Series. I have the first pleasure and honour of that, and I can now officially announce that the voice of the Golden Trophy this year will be the voice of the Grand Finals himself, as Henry Baudet will return to the home of champions. Unfortunately, I'm not here I won't be here that weekend, so you'll be in the welcome hands of my good friend from the Isle of Barry in South Wales, not too far outside of the capital city of Cardiff. So, 5 minutes to go, plus an additional lap. Have to give a shout out to Henry because they've got the Road Tags Invitational at Al Ain Raceway in the UAE. Al Ain Raceway run by the team led by Guy Sheffield. So hello to Guy. Hope the team over there at Al Ain are doing well. But Len Noyes continues to lead the way ahead of Antoine Barberou. But the gap is closing between the pair. It was 0.286 of a second over the line as we're now on lap number 7. And Gustav Zuzakos embroiled in a battle with SP Motorsports. Oh, right, another driver's just pulled into the pit lane. Louis Koch from Kraft Motorsport. The 408 from Germany has called time on the race. We still have 4 minutes to go. Plus, that all-important additional lap. So Antoine Barberou is trying to put his best foot forward. He wants to go for this title. Now, there are previous French winners of classes within, but there's not that many of them. And the person, well, there are 2 people I'm going to mention here. As per my records for the BNL Karting Series Roll of Honour, one driver that has won representing the nation of France is a man that, 2 people. I'm going to mention 3 though for good reference. DD2 Masters, Rudy Champion, that was in 2020. Paul Louveau went and won it in 2022. But there's a third person who knows history. Actually, there's 2 people here that know history. I'm going to name check them. Ably assisting Killian Kraft this weekend, driver coach Martin van Leeuwen, and also the owner and operator of the RM Concept power team that has just seen his driver, Antoine Barberou, go into the race lead. Bon après-midi, Morgan Riche. Now, the thing was, on the same year, for a golden trophy, Van Leeuwen and Riche came here to Genk, won their tickets for the grand finals in Bahrain, and went on to win. Further information will come through the official RMC at RMC Golden Trophy Instagram page. And now, returning the favour through at turn number 1, Len Noyes steamrolls his way past Antoine Barberou. What does this also mean? Laurence Herbose is closing on in. And Herbose, normally a quick peddler for the team at Bouvin Power, run by Berger Bouvin, has really caught them up. And so, oh look, it's the harbinger of doom. And I mean that with all jest. The 46 teams, David Maslakovic. Black visor, black race helmet. It's always the same with David. But we are going to have 2 more laps to go. Len Noyes continues to lead the way. Antoine Barberou in second. Laurence Herbose in third. David Maslakovic rounds out your top 4 at the moment as they go through into turn number 3. Here on what is lap 11. Out of 12. And Antoine Barberou saw a little bit of daylight there. He thought he might have been able to go around the outside of Len Noyes into turn 6. Len Noyes said, no, you don't. I'm going to keep the inside line and block off the door. That's exactly what he did. But Barberou, when he's on his A game, can really throw a haymaker or 2 here or there. So, final lap now gets going. Into high gear we go. And it's Len Nye still holding on ahead of Antoine Barberou. David Maslakovic trying to get through on Lawrence Herbos from P3 in the dying stages of this race, but the Belgian still holding his line. Into the European for the final time. Oh, Herbos nearly had a look up the inside of Barberou through at turn 5. And now Len Nyes blocks him again. And now Nyes becomes the cork in the wine bottle. Depending on whether you prefer your white or your red wine, Len's your man for sticking a cork in it. And under braking, they get a little bit snaky, a little bit tail happy. And that's Nicolas Guillaume trying to see if he can muscle in. But look at this scramble out of the final corner. It's going to be close, but by a whisker. It is going to be Len Nyes. Antoine Barberou second, Lawrence Herbos, Nicolas Guillaume, Gustav Zusakos, David Maslakovic, Wout Kirstens, Matthias Ankans, Mats Johan Overhoff and Axel Hoos round out your top 10. Marco Truttenpreis, Vincent van Kerkhoven, Christophe Capitain, Ralf van der Pavert, Kian de Brandt, Michael Becker, Wim Rouleau being the last of the classified runners and riders. Louis Koch, Jakub Malamis and Dmitry Ostrowski round out the last 3 drivers who unfortunately retired at some point during the race itself. But Len Nyes wins in DD2. Capitan victorious once again in Masters. Well, here they are, the highlights from the DD2 and DD2 Masters pre-final. One more pre-final this season to go. And stay with us, don't touch that dial, folks, because we'll be with you back very shortly for the pre-final on day number 2, the final round of the season for Junior Rotax, coming up shortly. So, with the dummy grid being cleared, it's time to showcase the stars in our Junior Rotax class of 2025. Now, it is going to be a guessing game as to who is going to be victorious in this pre-final, because it will set us up again for another exciting championship finale. And more to the point, it's about, you know what I'm saying about, well, if at first to finish first you must finish. That is very, very true. But of course, these drivers have all had very, very long, very, very challenging seasons. There's the Canadian flag in a multitude of different colour swatches, colourways there for Ryan Gandor, the 205 from Canada. And it is the final minute before these guys and girls get released onto the tracker. Oh, we've started getting a bit toasty out there, haven't we? 19 degrees Celsius at this juncture. We were single digits coming onto the track earlier on this morning. And then about 11 degrees at morning warm-up at 9 o'clock onwards. 9:45, got a little bit hotter. And now here we are at close to 2:30 in the afternoon. And these karts have their drivers behind their wheels, ready to rock and roll at a moment's notice. And I know who you're cheering for, Mr. Roger Young. Eason Seng, he says, come on, Eason, bring the fight, son. Let's take you through the starting grid. Pole position, Lars Lambers. Second on the grid, Ryan Gandor. Second row, Mate Kobahidze and Noah Barham. Max Swiderski and Bran van der Weyken. Row 3. Louis Radcliffe and Kian Bernhard round out row 4 with Sebastian Lersch and Theo Giluto rounding out the top 10. Boris Verhaag, Easton Seng, Nico van Berkel, Sebastian Chua Clark. A birthday, as we said earlier on, for Riley Morgan today. Many happy returns. Koen Willems, Lucas Stoddard, Jacob Ashcroft, Callum Sims, Luan Seidel, Kaiser Ziza, Isaac Barker, Jente Moonen, Emily Siedkowska, Patrick Askvik, Rory Armstrong, Daniel Huckinen, Justin Fonk, Sam Kohler, Devin Mieta, Conor Large, Louis Bishop, Maj Tusek, Vince van der Halle, and Lionel Munguia. That is your 35-strong grid here in Junior Rotax, as we're about to get the formation lap underway. So the drivers will now head into the tram lines very shortly. And with that, so the drivers now will pass the line of no return off the pit lane entry. So, revs up, lights are on. And we have got a full start. So they're going to send them around again for another tour. Am I going to get bored of these full starts? No, not quite, because You want to see how it all plays out. You want to see the race start and the race finish. But there is sometimes that windows of opportunity where you can have some documentation. But there we go. Right, so let's see. Can we get this under starters orders and gone for the second time of asking? It's always difficult when there's a full start because the drivers then have to control out and delete. They basically have to reset the hard drive. So, what does that mean for these drivers here? How are they going to fare over the next 10 minutes plus an additional lap? So the drivers now starting to concertina up as they come out of turn number 11, yellow flag waving behind the point of no return. And Josh Cook shouting out for Ryan Gandor, who starts on the outside of the front row. Along the 242 from Bhuvan Power, Lars Lambers. So this time it'll be a better even start. Revs are up. Oh, and it's the second successive full start of the day, and the 279. Well, that doesn't seem to be having too much of a good time there. Lucas Dorder. And we've got a red flag stoppage. Red flag stoppage because 279 is stuck on the start-finish straight. Red flag stoppage because 279... No, that's not. Yeah, that is the 279. Lucas Dorder is stuck in the start-finish straight. But the red flag has been called by race director Manuel Branco, which means all drivers will now line up on the start-finish straight in what should be a single file order. So for those just joining us on the YouTube and Facebook streams, we are under red flag stoppage conditions due to, firstly, Lucas Dorder stopping on the start-finish straights and blocking the racing line, but we also did have 2 full starts. So we are going to put them back in some semblance of order. Obviously, it is going to be a full restart, and they normally will get one more they'll get one formation lap to get their tyres ready and up to temperature. But so it looks like we are in for a slight delay, but bear with us as we'll be getting back to the action very, very shortly here at the home of champions, Karting Genk. So we are going to have a full restart of the pre-final. As I've just seen Lucas Stordeur sprint. I've never seen a young driver of that age run so fast away. But the main thing is safety is the priority. And drivers will now be given a full restart chance in this pre-final on day number 2. And once the official results have been confirmed for this, that will then decide the grid for the final. Oh, we've got another kart stopping, and that is, oh, that's got Alchemy on the side of it. That's the 292. Oh, Cian Bernard. Cian Bernard. He's gunning the throttle, but is there no throttle pedal travel? Oh, that's disaster for the youngster from the United Kingdom. Shout out to Alchemy Car Care, who also support Lewis Goff. Lewis not having a great run in his opening qualifying heat this weekend. Today, I mean. But look at the grandstand. Oh, the grandstand. I just caught a glimpse of it. It is at least 60% full. Right. After a red flag stoppage, 2 full starts, can we be third time lucky, ladies and gentlemen? Because it is time to get things ready to go racing. Here in Junior Rotax, day 2 pre-final. And up we go through the rev range. The lights go green, we're underway. And it's the run to corner number 1. And there's one who's gone off on rally crossing. Couple of cuts. Oh, it's definitely gone wrong for a few at the back end of the field. So didn't really catch the numbers. I think one of them, well, it wasn't Cian Bernard or Lucas Stordeur. They have retired before the beginning of the race. But 2 carts caught up in the crossfire at turn number 2 as the field is making its way through the circuit. So, Rory Armstrong was one of them, and I think maybe Louis Bishop. Lars Lambers leads after the opening lap. Matiko Bahidze in second, but look, Ryan Gandor, oh my goodness me. Hold the phone, batten down the hatches. Sebastian Loesch is there. Eason Sang has dropped down to 25th. That's for you, Roger Young. But now it's more the case of trying to do the best that you can do, that you can. But it is going to be the case that Lars Lambers is going to have, well, he's not leading the race anymore. Matiko Bahidze is leading. Ryan Gandor is in second. Sebastian Loesch now up into P3 in the 2:36 entry. And Bahidze is pulling away. And after 2 laps, we're on to lap 3. Matiko Bahidze leads the charge. Whilst everyone else is trying to keep with him. Jacob Ashcroft, he's, he didn't have the greatest run in the qualifying heat earlier on. Dreen on YouTube. Started down in 18th position. Sam Kohler's up 13 spots. So is Connor Large. Vince van der Halle, who was eliminated in the early goings of the qualifying heat, now up 15 spots. Now from 34th, runs 19th. But Matiko Bahidze is trying to keep a hold of what is around about a half-second lead at the moment in time. Isaac Barker has just received the warning flag from race control. And there are battles here, there. They are everywhere. Up and down the order. It's like Bruce Forsyth at Play Your Cards Rate saying, pick a card, any card. You don't know whether you're going to have to go higher or lower. Luan Seidel gets the new fastest lap of the race, and he's down in last position. So we've lost Kian Bernard, we've lost Louis Bishop, we've lost Lucas Lauder. So now it's a case of how hard are you willing to push? Or are you going to save a little bit for the final later on? Oh, and Easton Sang, he's had a mare in this one. Started 12th, now 25th. Kais Aziza from Switzerland has just been given a warning flag from race control. Currying up 9 spots from 21st on the grid. Noah Barham now sets the new fastest lap of the race. 56.987. And he's closing in on the pair in front. Gandor, who's now 6/10 behind Kobahidze. So whatever happens in the next 5.5 minutes will be crucial on how the finals come alive a little bit later on here at the Home of Champions. Because it will come down to that ultimate final race of the weekend. And then it's all for themselves. Okay, you just opened a beer. Where's the chaser with that, Roger? Come on, don't muck around with me. I know what you like. Vince van der Holle now has the new fastest lap of the race. And he's up 21 spots from 34th on the grid. He's running P13. He's behind Jacob Ashcroft, who's now up 6 positions and is 2 spots away from the top 12. So this is where it matters, folks. These next 4.25 minutes are going to be paramount. And now there's going to be an opportunity here. Bran van der Weyken on Sebastian Loesch. That is a change for 5th. Vince van der Holle, new fastest lap of the race. 56.017. Patrick Askvik has just been given a black and white warning flag from race control. But still, well, Ashcroft now ahead of Max Sidursky. The 297 from SP Motorsport. But once Mate Kobahidze got his way into the race lead, at the moment, the youngster from Georgia, Ustad Vako, is here. Got to know Martin Vako very, very well indeed. And for a number of seasons, Mate always caught my eye because he always had a Ayrton Senna race helmet, which had, I think it was Know Thy Truth on the side of it. And a very, very, it's kind of like the Shakespearean adage in one of his plays. To thine own self be true. And now he's being true to himself. He's leading. But he's got the likes of Barham, Gandor, Lambers, Van der Weyken. Ashcroft now in 10th place. Van der Holle still now up to 12th. Up 22 spots. And now there's another change. Ryan Gandor has been passed. And that's by Bran van der Weyken. Jacob Ashcroft now 8th. And he's 4.6 seconds away from the front of the pack. Teo Giluto, Lionel Munguia, they have received black and white warning flags, so Giluto in the 241. Munguia in the 209. But now it's time for Kobe Pauwels to try and hold on. Noah Barham tried to force the door open. Going through into turn 8. Gandor is there. He's back past Lambers. Van der Weyken, Verhaag, Lieke van Berkel and Jacob Ashcroft. And Ashcroft is 4.6 seconds away from the race leader. His DHR teammate, Georgia's Mate Kobe Pauwels. Kobe Pauwels goes defensive, cuts across in a nice diagonal line, down into turn 1. Oh, we've had further dramas. And Koen Willems is out of his GKS Lemons Power Kart Esprit chassis and is out of the race. And still with just over a minute to go, all I can say now is that there is some clear air that Jacob Ashcroft has in front of him. And with the squabbles happening in front, it's only a matter of time. Well, he's pretty much nigh on there, damn it. So now, 2 laps remain. Can Mate Kobe Pauwels hold on? Noah Barham in his wheel tracks. Lambers pulls to the outside line. Tries to get through on Barham at turn 1. Doesn't work. And you can see from the mechanics gantry off of the final corner, they are there with stopwatches in hand, with eagle eyes. And now the floodgates are opening. Timer has hit 0. Ashcroft is 7th. Where could he be by the end of this race on the checkered flag? They're coming through into turn number 9 for the final time. Then the short shoot down to turn 10. Kobe Pauwels is just about holding on by a fingerful, a finger's breadth. Now into turn 12 for the final time. Last lap, 1.36 kilometres, 13 corners. Here we go. The roller coaster starts now. And this is where Jacob Ashcroft is now 6th. Ashcroft now 6th and climbing. And he's in contention. Kobe Pauwels leads the field into turn 5. Down the Europolan for the final time. And there is the 246 of Ashcroft. Kobe Pauwels defends ahead of Barham. Going into turn 6 for the final time. Through 7. This is going to be a grandstand, Fast and Furious style photo finish. Down into turn 10 for the final time. Kobe Pauwels got 3 more corners to hold on as it all kicks off behind him. But once, well, it was finally a time coming. Out of the final corner, Mate Kobe Pauwels, the Georgian, wins the pre-final. He hangs on. And he wins by 4.4 tenths of a second. 44, matching the last 2 digits on his race number. But what does this provisional result mean? Mate Kobe Pauwels provisionally will start on pole position for the final, ahead of Noah Barham, Ryan Gandor, Boris Verhaag, and Jacob Ashcroft. 18th to 5th by the defending champion. Lars Lambers, Vince van der Holle from 34th to P7. Head of Bran van der Weyken, Louis Radcliffe, Sebastian Lersch, Kaiser Ziza, Max Swiderski, Sebastian Charles Clark, Lieke van Berkel, Easton Seng, Justin Fonk, Theo Giluto, Sam Kohler, Riley Morgan, Connor Lange, Lionel Munguia, Isaac Barker, Rory Armstrong, Manish Tusek, Emil Siedkowska, Devrim Yater, Patrick Askvik, Callum Sims, Luan Seidel, Daniel Hakkinen, and Yenthi Moonen round out the 31 finishers. Koen Willems, Kian Bernard, Lucas Lauder, and Louis Bishop, unfortunately retired. Josh Cook, you're going to have to wait, my friend, because I've already gone through them earlier on today. But we will bring into the party mix the second drop score and the starting positions once everything's been ratified ahead of the final. Right. Very shortly, we're going to get underway with our last qualifying heat of the season. It's going to be Senior Rotax qualifying heat A versus B, heat 3. And then we'll take a brief break and then we'll come back for the finals. Senior Rotax up next. They say it is the calm before the storm. And with silence, no engines running here at the home of champions, you can cut the atmosphere with like a hot knife through ice cold, rock solid butter round about now. Because when we started this journey on the 8th of March 2025, who could have said that this weekend would be proven to have a grandstand finale for every single championship this season? And it couldn't be further from the truth. But before we get on to that stage where new names will be added to the honour roll, we have one more qualifying heat to go. And here we start the run towards the final curtain. Because Senior Rotax qualifying heat A versus B. The drivers now make their way onto the circuit for their 7-minute plus an additional lap race. Here is the starting order. Matej Radenkovic and Macaulay Bishop start on the front row of the grid. Radenkovic on pole. Charlie Smith and Cameron Nelson round out row 2. Tom Lenoir, Taze Van Wyk, row 3. Christophe Hulse and Ryan Bourguignon, row 4. Trofim Krotov and Roman Zrodionovs, row 5. Teresa Babichkova and Sverre Ubben next up ahead of Lewis Goff and Sebastian Koch. Bastien Mesnil, Louis Weaver, Tino Potier, Lex Quintans, Thomas Verheyen, Enzo Zani, Alex Adams-Acton, Dante Seamer, Theo Eriksson, Johannes Nyberg, Joe Gethin and Rein van der Meer rounding out the starting order. So let's, there is the grid for this final qualifying heat of the season. And then it goes to finding out who will be the top 36 heading through to the last race of the season. We are now on what will be race number 24 from 28 this weekend. So, Series Race Director Manuel Branco keeping a keen eye on this senior Rotax grid that is about to go into battle. And after this stage, once everything's been confirmed and ratified, then the top 36 will be decided on who goes through. Right then, red lights on the gantry. Revs now start to build as they accelerate into the tram lines. Red lights go to green. We are underway for the final qualifying heats of the season. And it's an even start from the front row. Charlie Smith looking up the inside of Kobe Bishop as they go through. So someone's got a bit of a noisy exhaust at the back end. And, well, whether the exhaust has fallen apart, I'm not sure. It can sometimes happen. But someone has brought out the yellow flags at Marshall Post number 2, I'm afraid. Field makes its way down to turn 6 for the first time at the Europalan. As a couple of drivers getting through, maybe on Charlie Smith heading into turn 6. Looks like Mateo Denkovic is leading the way, and it is going to be more than likely. I think Tom Longnoir has also picked up a couple of places. So, opening lap completed. Radenkovic leads the way, Bishop second, Longnoir third, and now he's going to battle tooth and nail with the Brits. Longnoir gets through. That's second place for the Frenchman. And more to the point, well, Charlie Smith, Cameron Nelson round out your top 5. So a lot of a Dan Holland Racing meritocracy at the sharp end of the field, and diving to the, oh, don't try and do that there, turn 6. Oh, that nearly gave them, nearly gave someone a fright. But more to the point, it is the case that over the course of this race distance, drivers will have to be very, very careful. So this is where things will get very, very crucial for these drivers over the next few moments of this race. So now it's a case of, can you keep it on the black stuff in front of you? And sometimes that is easier said than done. Enzo Zani now has a black and white warning flag from race control as we enter into the final 4 minutes and 25 seconds plus an additional lap. David Whitehouse, good afternoon. Motorsport Magpie. Good to see Isaac Barker back racing after missing out on the BKC finale last weekend. Good to hear from you, David, and I hope you're keeping well, my friend. David, very, very public about recent mental health struggles. So if you do need to talk to anybody, make sure it's a good friend, good confidant, or someone that you trust implicitly. So David, so good to see you as always, active on YouTube as always. Taze Van Wyk has a new fastest lap of the race. 54.843 by the man from the Netherlands. Field now halfway through this encounter. Matej Radenkovic doing exactly what he needs to do right now. And that can be very, very important indeed on how things transpire. So, Matej Radenkovic leads. Macaulay Bishop P2. Tom Longnoir up 3 places. Well, up 2 places. Now up to P3. Charlie Smith, Cameron Nelson, Taze Van Wyk, Robins Rodionov, Sverre Ubben, Bastian Mesnil, Christopher Holst. Round out your top 10. Luke Schwimmer again. Come on, Dante Seamer. Dante currently, where is he at the moment? 17th at the minute. 5 places gained ahead of Theo Eriksson, who's also gained 5 places. Tino Potier and Thomas Verheyen round out your top 20. But still, Matej Nedeljkovic doing exactly what he needs to do to stay ahead of the crowd behind him. This is where things are going to be really, really crucial. Very, very crucial indeed. Unfortunately from Bulgaria, Trofim Krotov has retired from the race. So that is another driver that is not going to be, I would say the words, best pleased about how their performance has been this weekend, but it cannot be helped. And now, Langlois versus Bishop. The elbows are out again in force, and Langlois manages to squeeze his way through up the inside of the man from Hoddesdon. Sverre Ubben, now the fastest driver out on track, up from 12th, now 7th. As we head into the final minute, plus an additional lap of this race. And Macaulay Bishop getting a warning flag from race control. But now there's some battling a little bit further back ahead of Sverre Ubben. That's Thijs van Dijk and Cameron Nelson. As we will have 2 more laps to go until the end of this last qualifying heat of the season. And then we go into Championship Sunday afternoon here at the Home of Champions. And again, Tom Langlois able to fend off the advances of Macaulay Bishop. Charlie Smith is right there with them. And now this is giving Nedeljkovic the opportunity he needs to pull away. And now Bishop is going to try and see what he can do. The timer hit 0. So 1 more lap to go. About 1.5 kilometres of racing here in the qualifying heat stage. So Matej Nedeljkovic is going to do what he can. But again, it's not going to be an easy one. Sverre Ubben gets through on Wales's Cameron Nelson, 4th position, and is right up the rear bumper of Charlie Smith. And here goes Bishop on the offensive against Langlois. Bishop to the inside, down the Europalan. Oh, and a bit of a hip check, and it's contact between the pair. Oh! And Langlois came over, clattered into the side of Bishop. So I don't know how that's going to be read, but it's going to be the case that Matej Nedeljkovic has had it all his own way. He's going to come across the line, take the checkered flag, and win the final qualifying heat of the season. Macaulay Bishop takes P2, 2.8 seconds behind Nedeljkovic. Charlie Smith P3, Sverre Ubben P4. Tom Langlois rounds out the top 5. Cameron Nelson, Thijs van Dijk, Roman Srodinos, Teresa Babichkova, Bastien Mesnil, Christopher Holst, Lewis Goff, Brian Bourguignon, Lex Quintans and Dante Seamer round out the top 15. Rounding out the finishing order, Sebastian Koch, Louis Weaver, Tino Potier, Theo Eriksson, Thomas Verheyen, Joe Gethin, Alex Adams-Acton, Enzo Zani, Johannes Neuberg, Rein van der Meer, and Bulgaria's Trofim Krotov from Bulgaria, unfortunately retired early in the race. That concludes the qualifying heat stages of this competition. But now we are nearing that very, very magical moment where we will, this afternoon, crown our new BNL Karting Series champions for 2025. Stay with us on WFR Live TV as we bring you the final hurrah on the road to Bahrain. Don't touch that dial. We'll see you very soon.